ERP implementation projects and digital transformations fail at a spectacular rate. The industry is literally littered with failures, and they are spectacular. The ERP vendors know this, and one of the things that they try to sell to you as a mitigation tool is the Agile implementation methodology, and it rarely works. My name is Marcus Harris. I'm a software and technology attorney. For over 20 years, I have drafted and negotiated a variety of technology-related agreements and litigated failed ERP projects in courts across the country. Software vendors and software integrators are notorious for introducing shiny new objects to make ERP implementations seem less complicated and easier. And one of those shiny objects is the Agile software implementation methodology. And while it's common for software developers, it's not necessarily common for software implementation projects, historically at least. I think Agile is seen by software integrators and vendors, and the way they pitch it to their customers, as a small and nimble ERP implementation methodology that really is an antidote to these hulking, large, risk-prone, complex ERP digital transformation projects. And it really just isn't suited to it, in my view, from an attorney's perspective. Compared to waterfall, which is the traditional way of implementing and integrating software implementation projects, Agile is less sequential. It runs in parallel with different types of sprints. They're more focused on the integrators or the consultants that are utilizing this methodology. They're more focused on obtaining what I would call a minimal viable product, and really just looking at a certain small aspect of the project to try to get maybe core functionality integrated and implemented first, while ignoring some of the other aspects of the project. So I think very much they're not looking at the big picture. And I think for an ERP implementation project, that really is problematic. I mean, the goal of ERP is to have one source of truth. It's to have a software functionality that's going to serve multiple pieces of the business. And if you're only focusing on a very narrow niche portion of the product to try to get it up and running, minimally in a minimally viable way, I think there's just fundamentally something wrong with that, and I think it's problematic, and I absolutely think that it increases the likelihood that that project is going to fail. While Agile doesn't cause implementation failure, I think it certainly can mask problems that are happening in the implementation project. For example, you look at the Agile software methodology, and it's not really going to be focused on having definitive milestones, definitive deliverables, gate sequencing of the project. I mean, if you don't have any of those, and if you're being told, well, this is iterative, this is how we do it, just believe us, and at the end of it, we'll come up with a viable product or component of a product that we're going to be able to utilize. I mean, you're putting a lot of faith in your software vendor, and I think in many ways, I think that faith can be very misplaced. And to be quite honest with you, this is a software attorney's worst nightmare, right? The goal for us is to hold that software integrator, the software vendor, the consultants to account with contractual obligations, contractual language, milestones, deliverables, obligations that are definitive. The goal of that contract really should be, if the thing is going sideways, you should be able to pull that contract out of a desk drawer and point to an issue resolution, escalation, obligations that are spelled out in the contract with specificity. Agile does not let you do any of that. Agile is just kind of an excuse, in my view, as an attorney, that allows software vendors and software integrators to avoid legitimate contractual responsibilities and contractual obligations. And so I think if you're embarking upon a digital transformation or an ERP project and you have a choice, I don't think that Agile makes a lot of sense. And I think if you're going to use an Agile methodology, you're increasing the risks, and you really have to be massively invested in that project, and you're going to have to manage that project to a higher level of degree than you might otherwise if you were using waterfall or some other implementation methodology. If you have any questions about any of the issues that we've talked about in this video, if you're about to embark on a digital transformation project, or your digital transformation is going sideways, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to talk to you. I'd love to talk to you about what your options are and come up with a plan to get your project on the right track or give you a path forward regardless.